Episode 2, Australian Geography. So we have a map. As you can see, it is broken down into different sections. Some of those sections are states, and some of those sections are territories. You have Western Australia, South Australia, Northern Territory, Queensland, New South Wales, and Victoria. But there's one missing. It's called the ACT, Australian Capital Territory. Oh, and also you have Tasmania, which will be referred to as Tassie, because that's just much better to say than Tasmania. Now the ACT hosts the capital. I know. A lot of you guys thought that Sydney was the capital. I did too. But my Australian friends, 7 to be exact, they know who they are, told me different. We had 3 weeks of learning, other stuff, but also learning about Australia. So all my information comes from them. So if anything's wrong, I blame them. Just blaming them right now if something is not accurate. Now, there are some cities outlined in the map. The ones on the east, Adelaide, Melbourne, Canberra, and Sydney, are the ones that they live in. So, kind of spread out, kind of diverse, whatever. Oh, and it's not Melbourne. It's Melbourne. So much fun to say. So, I may use that throughout different things because it's just so much fun to say and shout out loud. It's a little bit of a joke, but I digress. I mean, it's not Canberra, it's Canberra. As you do. So, here's where I have a bit of a problem with their geography. Notice how it says South Australia. Now, does that look like the south of Australia to you? No. Victoria is the most southern state in continental Australia. Why aren't they switched? Why isn't South Australia Victoria and Victoria South Australia? That would make more sense, but no, it just doesn't. It doesn't work that way. I have no idea why. I'm just blaming it on whoever decided to name it that. They must have been knocked on the head or something, because that just makes no sense. Another thing that doesn't make sense to me about the geography, that it's a question mark, is the Northern Territory. Now, why does that get to be a territory and the rest are states? Wouldn't Queensland be the Northern Territory? It's the most northern part. But no. Northern Territory should switch with Queensland. So instead of having those two in the middle, it should be Queensland, Victoria, and then, you got it, whatever. That would be the most logical sense. Another thing, did you see Tassie down at the very end? Technically, that's the most southern, but it's not in the continental area. They really don't think of themselves as part of the country. They're their own little separate area. They're like the Texas of Australia. I hate to be the one to break it to you guys, but you are part of it. Whether you want to be or not, you're stuck in it. Get over it. Now, I'm going to take down this map and put up my very own map. This map I drew in Starbucks. Probably didn't need to know where I drew it, but I was quite happy with it. It's my version of 2 maps that were drawn for me by 2 of the coolest people you'll ever meet. Well, you won't meet them. Some of you will, but anyway. They drew it. They kind of outlined a few things for me. They drew a boat. I don't have a boat, but it's basically everything that I learned from them condensed into one map form. And it's very true, because it's the Australian stamp of approval. I found it. Well, I found, like, evidence that I do know Australian people from something that was drawn for me that just happened to be found while I was cleaning out my suitcase. But I don't know if you can actually make it out. I'm going to hold it up anyway. You see where it says the Australian right there? That's right. Because it's from the Australian named Rachel. Yeah, that's right. Anywho, so you can see that I have no one lives here for Western Australia. The only place there is that I know of, and probably the only place there is Perth. Perth just keeps spitting out actresses and actors that make it to Hollywood. So they're leaving Australia to come to the US. Again, it backs my theory that no one lives there. What do you have besides desert? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And then I just put a question mark for Northern Territory and South Australia. You know why. And then for Queensland, you see that I say everyone hates you and you are in the past. Everyone hates you just comes from the general feel that we all got when the Australians were talking about Queensland. Apparently that's like where the Great Barrier Reef area is, and where all the like deadly things are, like spiders and whatnot. So I personally don't hate you. I hate what lives there. I probably won't go and see it, because, you know, if you've watched episode 1, you know I hate spiders. I'm not going to the nest where they are. That's just not going to happen. Put that out of your head. The reason why I say they're in the past is because they don't follow daylight savings time. They don't recognize it. I personally don't understand why we have to do daylight savings time. It makes no sense. It's kind of an inconvenience. But we all do. And they don't. So they're like in the past. So when we're doing it, when it's daylight savings time, they're just in their own little weird past bubble, and it pisses people off. So get your crap together and recognize daylight savings time, because this is ridiculous. You're just annoying people, Queensland. You are just annoying people. That's right. Now I put a little circle over a few places and put love this area, because that's Eastern Australia. That's where everyone pretty much lives, and that's where all the cool places are. Like, you know, Sydney. Everyone knows about Sydney. It's Finding Nemo. If you don't know about Finding Nemo, where have you been? Also, you get this new little area that the rest of the world had no idea existed. Canberra. Apparently it's like a hipster museum-y place. So definitely gotta go visit that. And then Victoria with Melbourne. That's where like the sports and, again, museums and stuff are. And then, as you can see, I put Boo Hiss by Tassie, because they're just annoying. It's just frustrating that you don't think you are a part of the country. You are. So get on it. Also, another reason why I put Boo Hiss, because their customs are hella strict. The only thing that really comes out of there that people mentioned a lot were their produce. I think it was like apples or something. But, you know, going there, You can't bring anything with you because they don't want the outside stuff coming into their, like, little country. Get over yourself. Okay? If I come and visit you, I don't want to stand in line at the customs place with nothing to declare. I mean, first off, it's a 19-hour flight to get to that country. The last thing I want to do is stand in, like, 2-hour line or an hour line when I really just want to go. I want to get to where I'm supposed to be so I can, like, go to sleep or something. I want to be out of the airport, so you're just being an inconvenience. That's all you're being. Anywho. So that concludes episode 2. Hope you've learned a lot. I know you've learned what the capital of Australia is. And basically how messed up that entire middle section is. Hopefully someone will watch this and get that straightened out, because, I mean, that until that does, I refuse to accept that is Southern Australia, like South Australia, and I refuse to accept that that's Northern Territory. No. No. That needs to get sorted out. Otherwise, there's going to be made a big question mark. You're going to confuse a lot of people. Luckily, I had people explain it to me. I just explained it to you. You see how it works. Episode 3 is going to be about Australian slang. So, I need to know, basically, like a list of common slang. I know a few, like dag, and their short version of darlin'. I'm not going to say it right now because I know how it's supposed to be said, but that accent is so hard to get that I'm not going to say it. I'll probably practice it and see if I can maybe do it in episode 3, which will be coming out next week as per the bet that I lost. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Look forward to episode 3 in like a week.